Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to learn how to replace root site with a different site collection. Okay, so now let's understand what is a root site. So root site is basically the base of SharePoint wherein every new site followed the path of the root site. Okay, it is the first entry point of any site collection. And let me show you quickly what exactly a root site is. If I go to the active sites, okay, so you see this domain name, okay, 5062-admin and .sharepoint.com. This is my domain name. And if I remove the admin part, the URL which comes up, it is the root site, okay, and every site follows the same path convention like teams demo. So it will have the root site /teams/demo. If I open it, then you will be able to see. Okay, you see that it has root site in it, and then teams, and then demo. Okay, so I believe this is clear. Now let's move to other part, which is why to replace. So now the root site actually is a communication site. You have the modern experience. But before 2019, the root site was in a classic site, or in a classic experience. Okay. And if you want to have the modern experience on a classic site, you had to create either a modern page on the site, or either you have to enable the communication features on the site collection so that you could get the modern experience. However, the Microsoft has identified that the root site needs to be migrated from classic experience to the new versions or new experience. Then they introduced creation of root site as a communication site so that more advanced features can be used in a root site. Okay, but again, if you are not satisfied with the existing root site and you want to have a different site collection which you have designed and customized, and you want that site collection to be set up as the root site, then you can go ahead and basically replace it. But again, let me reiterate that now you cannot delete the root site. In before 2019, when the root site was in Classic, so you had the option to delete the root site and create new ones according to your need. But now deleting the root set is not possible. It is not possible via GUI, or it is not possible via PowerShell as well. Okay, that is why the replace is introduced so that you don't have to delete the existing root site and you can create a new root and can just swap the root site to a different site collection. Okay, now swapping can be done, but there are some criteria. So the target URL or the target site should be a team site or a communication site. Okay. If it is a team site, then it has to be a modern team site. It cannot be a classic team site. And if it is a team site, then there should be no Office 365 group attached, or there should be no publishing feature activated. If there is any publishing feature activated, then the swapping will not work. Okay, so this is one of the limitations and eligibility criteria. Okay, so I have shared the steps that how you can replace the root site via PowerShell. Okay, this is via GUI, how you can use the graphical user interface and replace the root site. Okay, now this is all the theoretical part. Let's now navigate to the SharePoint Admin Center and let's look these things into practical. Okay. So like I said that we would not be able to delete it. So let me give you a small demo quickly. This is my root site. Okay. I will just click on this ellipsis and you can see delete option is not here. This site cannot be deleted. Even if I open this site and I go to the site settings and then delete this site, the site will not be deleted still. Let me quickly show you. I'll just click on this and I just click on site information. Okay. And site delete. Okay. Delete. So you will see that the site will not be deleted, and you can see that the site cannot be deleted because it is the top level site. Okay, and if you are a global admin or a SharePoint admin, you can replace it with a different site. So you see the deletion will not work. The deletion cannot be done with the root site, only the replacement. And again, this site can be replaced with other communication site and or a team site. So communication site creation is very easy. I hope everyone knows it. Now let me show you how to create a team site with no group attached to it. And also let me show you that why it is not possible to set up a classic site or a group site as a root site. So let me pick this site, this classic site. Okay. This is basically a classic site. I'll just copy the URL of this. So I come back to my root site. I click on replace site. I'll put in the URL here and it will look and verify if the swapping can be done or not. Okay. So it says it can be done. Right. Let me see if it is actually a classic site or not, because I believe this is a classic site. No, this is actually a modern team site, and it does not have a group associated with this, it seems. Okay, right. And it's a classic one. I'll just come up here, select this, copy link address. Okay, go back to the communication site, replace this site. I'll put in the URL here. And let's see. So you see that this site must be a team site or communication site. It can not be connected to a Microsoft 365 group. So this is actually a classic site, and I was not able to add it to as a root site or replace the existing one. Okay, but also remember, guys, if the site is registered as a hub site, so again, then it will not be replaced, because the root site and the new site, if both of them are registered as a hub site, then you need to unregister them as a hub site. Then only you will be able to perform it. Okay. And again, let's look for a group site. So this demo is a group site. I'll just copy this. I'll copy the URL of this one. Okay. Copy. And let's come back here. This communication site. Let's click on replace site, paste it the URL. So again, that group site, it did not pick up the group site, and in fact, it did not pick up the classic site. So this one record site is a classic site. So this classic site I have, okay, it's actually a team site, right? And it does not have the group associated with this, okay? And how did I create this? I clicked on create. So by default, I get two options: create a team site and create a communication site. So we are not going to use this. We are just going to use this browse more site. The very first site, team site template, we need to use this one. So I'll just make it replace team site. Okay. So this is fine. I will just put up my name here as the primary admin. Things are fine. Click on next, and this site will be created. So remember, guys, that I will be replacing the root site to this particular site which I'm creating right now. So I will, if I'm going to do this in a production tenant, so I will have to make sure that whatever permissions the user have on a root site, they should also be able to access the new root site as well. So I will need to replicate everything. I need to do it manually. So replacing the site does not mean the existing user permissions or existing content will be moved to the new site. It will not happen. You will have to do it manually. This is one of the limitations. Okay. All right, so the site is created. Let's read. And now let's try to replace the existing root site to the new site. And again, what happens is when you replace the existing root site to a different site collection, okay? So the existing root site goes to archive mode. So there is one word archive gets added to it and the date, and there is one some ID gets added to it. So let me show you. I'll just open this replace team site. Let's copy the URL. Now let's get back to the communication site once again, the root site. Of course, let's click on replace site. I'll just paste the URL here. It will just cross verify if this site is compatible or not. Okay. I'll just click on save. Right. So just note here that I go to membership. Okay. The members or the administrator, there are more number of administrators. And even if you look at the settings, it says anyone. Okay. But if I see this particular site, which I'm going to create as a root site, if I go to site admin, so you see that the administrator part is not replicated, and even the sharing part as well. So these settings and everything is not copied here. So I will need to manually replicate all the things on my own. Okay, so this is one of a drawback or a limitation you can say. Okay, and this will take some time. So meanwhile, I'll just quickly pause the video, wait for it to finish. Once it finishes, I'll just resume back. Okay, so the site was the existing site, and right here, if you see, it has moved from communication site. Previously the URL was like this. Okay, then now the URL has been changed. It says size and then archive, then today's date, and then uh, there is some ID attached to it. So I'll just open it to show you how exactly the URLs look like. Okay, you can see that it has some to it and the date and the archive to it. So it means that the site is moved to some different address and archive is attached to it. Even if you look into the subsite as well, the subsite will have different URL, will have archive next attached to it. So I'll just click on EWC, and if you look at the URL, it says the site URL archive, okay, and then it's EWC. So this is how it looks when the archive happens or when the replacement happens. And if I go back to the new root site, which is this one, I will select this. Okay, I will click on it. Now you see that URL has been changed. Everything is new, everything looking fine as expected. Okay, so the URL, if you look at this, previously it was replaced team site, and it has been changed to the root site. Okay, but again, now if you think that the previous site was more better, and you want that, let's switch it back to the existing site, so that can also be done. Okay, in the same manner. So you just select the communication site once again. All right. I will select it, copy the address. Now let's get the URL once again. It will just verify if the site can be reverted back or not. Once it is done, I'll just click on save. So it will basically replace the new site with the existing one. So this is how you can revert the changes. Okay. But again, like I mentioned earlier, that changes whatever the site had will not be replicated. So you will have to make sure that if you are replacing the root site to a different site, you have to make sure that permissions are copied, or data, or your links, your web parts, okay, whatever the things you had on the existing root site, it should be copied to the new root site, okay, because it will not copied or it will not be moved, right? So let's wait for this action to finish, and I'll just quickly pause the video for a while and let's resume back. All right, so the action is done. The site has been replaced. So let's check back if actually it happens or not. Okay. Now you can see that communication site, the URL has been changed, the archive has been removed, and the existing root site, the new root site, which was a replaced team site. So now it has archive attached to it. Okay. If you see, now let's get back. You can see that now it's saying that sites slash archive, right? Then some ID and date. So now it is not saying the place team site or everything because previously this was the root site. We made it to the root site. That is why replace team site was removed from the site name, and this naming convention is now added to this one. Okay, and our existing root site is now reverted back. If you want to check, you can just open it, and you will see the URL is it restored back, and everything is just working as expected. Okay. So if you want to replace it with a communication site, you would know, guys, very well that how to create a communication site. Just click on create and select the communication site option, and then once you are done with everything, just go back to the root site once again, click on replace, and put it the URL, and just verify, review, and click on done. So things will be replaced for you. Okay. So that's it for today's video. And this is how you replace a root site to a different site. You can also do the same through PowerShell. I have pasted the command in the PPT. I'll share the PPT as well. And again, if you need any help or if you have any doubts, so please leave your doubts in the comment box and I'm happy to answer that. Okay. So, see you in the next video. Till then, happy learning and goodbye.